So is it autism? Is it social anxiety? Oh, here are 5 ways that you can tell which one it is. Well, that's coming up. Hey guys, welcome back to the Aspie World. My name is Dan, I have autism and ADHD, so if you're new around here and you want to learn more about those things, make sure to hit the subscribe button by clicking the notification bell down below. But if you're watching on Facebook, Instagram and TikTok, then make sure to follow this page to see daily videos. Okay, so 5 things. The first one is root cause of social struggles. Now, let's talk about autism. In autism, social challenges often come from a difficulty of lack of understanding social conformity or social norms or social rules, right? Whereas social anxiety comes from a fact that those people know all these social conventions. They just don't feel comfortable being in those situations. Because social anxiety is more of a mental health condition, whereas autism is primarily a neurological communication disorder. So where you can have therapy to become better at being in social situations if you have social anxiety, if you're autistic, it's kind of like you're missing the inherent kind of like unwritten rules that we just pick up socially from being around other people. And this is really interesting. So that was the first one.
Hey, I interrupt this video to give you guys a very special word from today's sponsor. Guys, so one of the biggest questions that always happens with people is that they always ask, hey, are weighted blankets hot? No, this time I have found the best weighted blanket. Now, look, let me tell you, I was really interested in this company to partner with them because my girlfriend swears by weighted blankets, and so do I. I've had a weighted blanket for a long time. However, I gave my weighted blanket away to somebody else who needed it more than me, and so did my girlfriend. Now, this awesome company reached out to me and said, hey, do you want to check out a weighted blanket? And I was like, yeah. So BalooLiving.com reached out and was like, hey, would you like a weighted blanket to try it? And I'm like, yeah, 100%. So I decided to test out that blanket, and I assure you guys, it's not just a weighted blanket. This thing is quality. So weighted blankets, this one is cool and comfortable. It's made with chemical-free cotton, lead-free glass beads, so there's no heating trapped inside the polyester or synthetic smells, and it is really good for people who are hot sleepers. Like me, I'm a very hot sleeper, but there's no funky smells on it. This is a trusted quality. Basically, it's machine washable, which is amazing, of course, because of glass beads. It's dryer safe, and it's backed by a lifetime guarantee, and this investment will last. This is so cool. I cannot tell you how good weighted blankets are for people on the autism spectrum, right? So the weight is distributed equally in this one. So it uses a unique 3-size pocket design, which ensures that the most balance for comfort is present when you're using the blanket. Now, we use it to go to sleep, but you can also use it if you're feeling maybe overwhelmed or you're feeling anxious. Weighted blankets or weighted compression on people with autism and ADHD has profoundly awesome results. Now, this is proven benefits. This is backed by studies showing that this reduces anxiety, improves sleep quality, and the deep pressure stimulation is helpful for the proprioception, which is people who also suffer from sensory processing disorder will get a benefit from this. It is an eco-friendly, carbon-neutral, ocean-positive, and plastic-free blanket with sustainable packaging and a UK delivery option available if you're in the UK, but they also ship to the US. They are just, honestly, guys, I cannot tell you, I've met the company founder personally. She's just lovely. Elizabeth is an absolute gem, and she really cares about people and really wants to make a difference in their lives, hence why she has this product. Also, you just saw me using the product, right? So to me, this thing is absolutely fantastic. I'm literally over the moon in love with this product. Like, it's insanely good. Okay, go to the link in my bio, use the code TAW to get 10% off site-wide. So anything you buy on the site, if you use the code TAW, you get 10% off. Go there right now. The link is in my bio, or you can go to BalooLiving.com right now and get it. So the link will be in the description and my bio. Remember to use the code TAW to get 10% off. All right, guys, back to the video.
So number 2 is the desire for social interaction. Now, this is quite interesting. So autistic individuals, a lot of the time, enjoy just being on their own and doing their own thing. Like just being alone reading, or being alone playing games, or writing music, making images, doing something. But as the social anxiety person would want to go and socialize and be social and really have a social experience. However, the anxiety holds them back from doing this. It's almost pulling them back, and it's kind of disabling them from actually going out and being social because they have an actual want for this. So autistic individuals are happy to not go out and socialize, whereas social anxiety kids or social anxiety people would want to go out and socialize. That's really interesting, isn't it? Because the autistic individuals don't want to socialize and don't really enjoy social interaction, whereas the social anxiety people really enjoy that and they want it, but they can't do it. It's a fascinating concept, but that was really interesting, and that's number 2. And FYI, guys, if you're enjoying this video, please give it a thumbs up. It really does help me. And if you have any questions to ask, pop in a comment down below. Okay, so number 3 is consistency of the traits. Now, people with autism will display traits of autism early on. Because it's a neurological disorder, it doesn't develop over time. It is ingrained in the DNA of that person, and they're what we call phenotypes, which is how the brain's neurological pathways kind of mend together. Now, those specifically are present as soon as your kid is able to develop some kind of typical social kind of interaction. So when a kid's development would be progressing along the lines, an autistic child, or autistic person, should I say, as a child, would come across these unusual roadblocks, and it would be quite present, and you could see that. That's why we're able to diagnose autism in children as young as 2 and 3 years old, because you can see this and how it interacts, with the child and the environment that they're in. Whereas people who have social anxiety, this develops over time. It could be from a trauma, or it could be from another mental health condition. It could be a bunch of different things, but it actually develops. It doesn't just it's not there from the start. It actually develops later on, which is actually fascinating, because that's really interesting to see kind of like how they both, parallel to each other. Because a lot of people think like, am I autistic, or do I just have social anxiety? Well, you'll know the exact difference. Also, guys, if you're interested in getting a mug branded by me, you can do. The link is down below, and I'll also tag it here somewhere on the timestamp. Cheers. Okay, so number 4 is interesting. This one is sensory sensitivities. Now, autistic individuals will usually, and I'd say 98% of the time, have a comorbid condition of sensory processing disorder, or SPD. Now, this means that the sensory experiences of being somewhere can become overstimulating, like the sounds, the smells, the lights, the temperature, the feeling of clothes. All these factors can cause difficulties within social situations. If you have to dress up in a suit and go to a gala, there may be a lot of different sensory input activities there that are going to be triggering for the autistic person to not want to be in that situation. Whereas a social anxiety person will be able to attend these events, but none of those factors will come into consideration of why they don't like it or why they have issues with social interaction, because they don't have autism and they don't have the sensory processing disorder unit that's comorbid or co-occurring, which means coming alongside the diagnosis with autism. They'll just have the social anxiety part. And that's fascinating. That's something that's very individual to autistic individuals. Okay, so number 5 is the response to structure and routine. Now, autistic people love structure, routine, and they thrive from having that kind of like predictability in a situation, right, where social events, social gatherings don't really have predictability. It's quite difficult to do that. Whereas people who just have social anxiety, they will obviously want to plan ahead for up-and-coming events, and they may worry about these and kind of get anxious about up-and-coming events, but not because of the routine change or because there's any surprises in the routine. And this is fascinating as well, because autistic individuals will find those events with social interactions extremely overwhelming because they don't know what to predict to happen next, and it could change at any moment. Whereas a person with social anxiety just feels anxious or worried, which are these like mental health emotions that are crippling them in that moment, not to do with the fact that they love routines. This isn't necessarily, doesn't even come into their mind. This is not something that they kind of think about. Now, all of these are really fascinating. I want to know your opinion. If you have anything or any insight to add to this, let's open the discussion, because here we have a community of a lot of people talking about different things. And if you like that, guys, I'll see you in the next one. Peace.